Hey, what is happening, everybody? Good afternoon. Let me make sure we've got volume set up high here. We have video on. We are streaming into YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook page. Hi, my handle is at Dr. Denise Simpson everywhere. So if you're following me on one platform, you're going to want to follow me on the others. So thanks for joining me this afternoon. So I wanted to take a few minutes today to talk about linchpins, a linchpin, something that I love to talk about, something that I love to create. It's what we do inside the Institute. That's Masters of Leadership Institute. We create linchpins, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that in just a moment. I am Dr. Denise Simpson. I'm happy to serve you today. We come on here to talk about topics, ideas, leadership mastery, mindset mastery, skill building. We talk about strategy, execution, all the things that are important to you, dear leader. I have been in the field of study, this particular field, for many, many years, 26 years to be exact, maybe a little bit more than that at this point. I started just like all of us in the trenches, molding the clay with my employees, having a good time with my employees, not having a good time with my employees, basically learning on the job, which is what a lot of us leaders do. We learn on the job. There's no time to go and take a 4-year degree or a 2-year graduate program or even a PhD like I did. There's no time for that. You were given an opportunity and you took the opportunity, and there's no time to waste. Let's go. So what do most of us do? We learn on the job. And so we're learning from our experiences. We have learned from our predecessors. We have learned from our current leaders. We're learning on the job, the mindset mastery. We're also learning the skills that we have or the gaps that we have in our skills. We find awareness around that pretty fast, don't we? We learn also how to strategize, how to think strategically, how to execute strategically. We are learning on the job, which is why I created a very specific answer to this problem, and it is leadership development and training for women leaders. I designed headquarters for her. I designed an institute for her so she will get all of the resources that she needs to become a masterful leader, or like I call her, a linchpin. So I am Dr. Denise Simpson. I've spent, like I said, a great deal of time doing the work with you, doing the work alongside you, and obviously creating programs like the Institute so that we can help women leaders rise to the top. I help them summit any mountain that they want. I create linchpins. I help them become indispensable in the organization. And we do that through learning and development and coaching inside the Masters of Leadership Institute. So check out wherever you're watching this live stream. Check out drdenisesimpson.com. Go to my bio, go to any information section there, and go check this out so that if you're interested, join us inside the Institute. But back to the matter at hand. I want to talk about the ending of this month. Very important month, the month of March. The rest of the world calls it Women's History Month. I respectfully have changed the name inside the Institute. I now call it, and our clients in the Institute now call it, Women Disrupting History Month. We've changed the name, and I hope it goes viral. Like I don't know who decides on how we honor people in months and groups, and holidays and so forth. But I hope this goes viral. I hope it changes. I hope we change the title from Women's History Month to Women Disrupting History Month. That's more like it. We're disruptors. We're disrupting status quo. So why not change the title of the month? And so we're ending this month officially tomorrow. And I thought I'd come on to encourage you to keep making history, that we just don't rely on a month to recognize, to reward, or to celebrate women in history, or women in our organizations, or women in our communities. We don't just have a month. It's every day of the year. And so just because the month is ending, I don't want for you to stop creating history. I want you to keep making history. I want you to keep disrupting status quo. I want you to continue this visionary trajectory that you're on. I want for you to continue developing the skill of foresight, cultivating this visionary skill. It's called foresight. I want to encourage you to keep going, even when the month officially ends tomorrow. This is part of our identity. We choose to be mothers. We choose to go into our organizations. We choose leadership. We're making choices every day. Choices that change the trajectory of our lives or takes us a few steps back. But nonetheless, we make choices. We're choosing. We're choosing to better our lives. We're choosing to better our families, our communities, our organizations, or even our cultures. We're choosing to better ourselves. And we do that through sometimes having to disrupt status quo. I've talked a lot about this theory that we put into practice in the Institute. I talk a lot about disruptive leadership. What does that even look like? If you want, more information on that, check out some of the past videos here. You'll learn a lot more about disruptive leadership, or you come into the Institute and we'll take it 10 layers deep into disruptive leadership. And I want for you to know that disruptors, we don't just disrupt for the heck of it. We're disrupting because there is a pattern, there is a trend that we have identified that is destroying our organization, destroying our workforce, destroying our culture. It's destroying our families. See, we don't disrupt, like I said, just for the heck of it. No. What is destroying is separating people. It is keeping us apart instead of unifying us. It's creating negative impact or negative results from these patterns, from these trends. And this is when a disruptor comes in and says, no, I don't think so. Not on my watch. I have to do something about it. I want to do something about it. I choose to do something about it. And so a disruptor looks at a pattern and immediately says, how are we benefiting from that? How are we benefiting from that? And if we're not, what is it costing us to keep this pattern alive? What is it costing us? And what can I do about it so that we all benefit from this, so that we all can move forward in unison, so that we can, instead of separating ourselves, we unify ourselves. That's what a disruptor does, and that's what you do. That's who you are. And I want for you to keep doing this. It's a mindset. It's this pursuit of excellence. It's a pursuit of mastery. It's not, you just don't turn on the switch on and off. It's constant. So even though the month is going to end tomorrow, doesn't mean we're going to stop disrupting history. We're going to keep making history. And that's what I want to remind you of today. So linchpins. So as we become disruptors and as we start developing the skill of pattern recognition, as we start developing the skill of foresight, right? Because that pattern, we're looking at how it has impacted us today and how it has a potential to hurt us in the future. And so as disruptors, we also have to develop the skill of foresight. And foresight is looking at the past, looking at how it's impacted our present, and how it could potentially impact our future. And what can I do about it? How can I change the course of this pattern? How can I modify it? How can I edit it? How can I disrupt the darn thing? That's what we get to do. And so as you develop these skills, you become a linchpin. I love this idea of a linchpin. I got this idea a few years ago when Seth Godin came out with his book, Linchpin. It's such a great book. Of course, he's a marketing expert. and I learning marketing through Seth Godin. It's the most, I think, ethical way to market, to sell, to serve. In essence, serving is what he equates to marketing and selling. And so I've taken on a lot of his ideologies and his principles because they just resonate with my servant leader approach to selling. And when he talked about the linchpin, my brain lit up. I thought, this is so insanely amazing. Like, this is exactly who we are as disruptors. As we are cultivating these skills, as we are disrupting and taking courage every day and having compassion for those who have been impacted and developing these skills of foresight, uh, we naturally become indispensable to our organizations. That's the byproduct of a disruptor, is becoming a linchpin. Now listen, we're all replaceable. Let me be very clear, very clear. I mean, you could replace me with with somebody else. You may have to take, 2 or 3 people to replace me, but technically you can replace me. But I'm indispensable to the organization. And that's the approach that I want for you to take as you continue disrupting status quo, as you continue to making history, you continuing to make history. I want for you to take on this idea of the linchpin, where when you quit, if you quit or you leave the organization, they'll have to replace you with 2 people easily. That's what an indispensable leader does. That's the energy. That's what she brings to the organization. And when she walks into her leader's office or to HR and she's asking for a salary negotiation, they can't dispute her leadership value. She has the evidence list of all the impact that she has made in her department, in her region, in her organization, and they cannot dispute that. She becomes indispensable. So she's creating this reputation of a linchpin through her actions. She's creating this reputation of a linchpin through the energy that she brings to the organization, the trust that she builds with her employees, the relationships she cultivates in the organization. She becomes a linchpin. It's intentional, it's purposeful. She becomes indispensable. So that's the energy that I want for you to continue with as we end officially March, Women Disrupting History Month. Mark my words, my friends, this will be the new title of March. We're going to forget that it was ever called Women's History Month. It's now going to be called Women Disrupting History Month. And so as we move into quarter two for us who are on our annual plans, we start April 1. So we're closing out quarter two and we're looking forward into closing out quarter one and we're looking out into quarter two. And I want for you to bring this mindset of the linchpin into your organization. So as you are using your 90-day planner, which by the way, I created one. I know you can't really see it on this camera. If you go to my Instagram page, you can see a video I did. You can get a glimpse of what this planner looks like and what it can do for your brain. Rewire your neurology for leadership. Listen, this is the best work I've ever done. This planner is so exciting to me. And so I've created for myself and I share that with my clients inside the Institute. So as you're working on Q2, as you're looking forward, as you have identified some patterns in your life, in your community, in your family, in the organization that is destroying, it's destroying groups, it is separating people, it is causing more harm than good. I want for you to take whatever pattern that is, and then I want for you to plan to disrupt it in a mindful, strategic, masterful way. How can I be the source of change here? How can I change the trajectory of this department, the trajectory of this organization by disrupting that pattern? What can I do? What do I have the abilities to do today? What are my current abilities? And what is the capacity that we have, that I have? in order to disrupt this pattern. Use your 90-day planner to do that. The 90-day planner, that's just, it takes nebulous abstract ideas that your beautiful, brilliant mind has, and we put it on concrete paper. We show our brains, oh, okay, so this is the step-by-step action. Okay, cool. It's not nebulous anymore, my friends, because when a concept is nebulous and you don't have a simplified step-by-step structure to execute and to implement and to reevaluate, then my friend, you've got nothing. So my brain works this way. I don't know if yours does, and if it doesn't, that's okay. But listen, we don't just plan and sit on plans. We execute around here, and we get to do that with our planners. So as you move forward, as you wrap up quarter one, as you wrap up this amazing month of March, and we're looking ahead and we're looking at ways to be indispensable, we're looking at ways to create this linchpin reputation of being indispensable, someone who is creating change in her organization, someone who is influencing and impacting her people. I want for you to use that skill of foresight. Look into the future. What do I want to have done or created by the end of this next quarter? What can I do? How can I, as I'm disrupting patterns, how can I become a linchpin? How can I become indispensable? What mindset gaps do I have? What limiting beliefs are keeping me stagnant? What skills do I need to develop? What skills am I lacking? What do I have an overage of in my skills? Take an inventory of your skills, of the knowledge of your abilities. Those are your KSAs, knowledge, skills, abilities. And so I want for you to start looking at strategic ways to intentionally impact the organization. This is how you become a linchpin. This will be your reputation. It's going to follow you through the organization. It's going to follow you throughout your career. It's like the leader, like the personal branding, like leadership branding that a lot of people talk about. How to develop your leadership brand. So as you're building your network, your network starts talking about you. Your organization starts talking about you. Your subordinates, your peers, the board of directors, stakeholders start talking about you because they're looking at your moves. They're watching your every move and you're impacting. You have an evidence list that you're growing. That's the branding, leadership branding that we're talking about, but I like to call it the linchpin reputation. It's this energy and this essence of a linchpin. And so that's what we get to do in the Institute. We get to develop this identity because we've put in the work. We put in the mindset work. We worked on our skill set. We're working on our strategy and we're always executing. And so we're creating evidence everywhere we go. This is how we create that reputation of a linchpin, someone who's indispensable. And so this is the energy that I want for you to have as we move forward. So don't fret that March is over. It's not the end of Women's History Month or Women Disrupting History Month. It's not the end of us. It's just the beginning. We created some momentum this month of March inside the Institute, and we're going to continue with this momentum. It's an energy. It's how we identify ourselves in the Institute. We're disruptors. That's what we call ourselves in the Institute. And we also, because we're disrupting status quo, we become indispensable. We become linchpins. It's a byproduct. You can't help that. And so that's the energy that I want us to bring into quarter two. By the way, tomorrow, March 31, Friday, at 1 p.m., we are having a quarter two planning session, and we're using our planners to take all those beautiful, nebulous, abstract, dreamy, impossible ideas, and we're going to use a system and our planner to create a step-by-step action plan. We're going to have a strategy and we're going to execute. We'll have tactics tied to every strategy, and we're going to go execute this month or this quarter, I should say. And so tomorrow, we're planning that in the Institute. If you want in on this action, you're going to have to join us. And of course, if you become an annual client of ours, you'll get this mailed. And if you choose to join us month by month, then we have the digital planner in there for you. So you still get it either way. You're going to want to do that. And then Sunday, April 2nd, we are going to do a Sunday planning session, and we do those once a month. So Sunday planning sessions just look like how I masterfully calendar my week, how I utilize every single minute of the day. And that includes some downtime, fun times, naps, and other things throughout my day. And I use just a handy dandy kitchen timer like this. This is how I plan my day. And so this is a very important tool that we get to use in the Institute. Listen, every second is accounted for, including the seconds that we take to rest and rejuvenate without guilt, without any shame. We get to take naps during the day if we want. We get to take an afternoon off if we want. It's all planned for. That's the key. It's planned for. We have choices. We've made choices ahead of time, so that when the day comes, we're not negotiating in our brains. There's no decision fatigue in our brains. We have committed to the work we're going to do, but we plan a whole lot of fun throughout our week. And we're going to learn how to do that on Sunday, April the 2nd. So listen, my friends, let me go ahead and wrap this up for us. You have this momentum and this energy going right now. And I want for you to continue with that momentum. I want for you to take that energy into your communities, into your families, into your organization. I want for you to remember you're the linchpin. This is the reputation that you are developing right now, if you don't have it already. This is the energy that we bring into rooms. This is the energy that we bring into boardrooms. This is the energy that we bring into negotiations, into our relationships. It's this energy, this essence of mastery, of excellence, of being a linchpin, of being indispensable. So keep that momentum going, even though we're wrapping up this beautiful month of March where we celebrated, where we recognized, where we called each other out for being great, for being brilliant, where we shined the light a little brighter on ourselves, on our peers, on our friends, the sisterhood that we have. This was a very special month, and it certainly was for me inside the Institute. And so I thought it was fitting for us to wrap up this month celebrating ourselves, celebrating the energy that we're also going to move forth into this next quarter. And I want for you to know that inside the Institute, we're here to support the linchpins. We create them, by the way. So if you can't identify as one at this moment, you join us in the Institute and that'll change. It'll change so fast. Your mindset will change. You'll have a mindset of a masterful leader, one that is always looking for ways to support, to help, to better her life, to better her organization and her community. This is what we do inside the Institute, among many other things. So join us. Join us there at drdenisesimpson.com/MOL, or just go to drdenisesimpson.com and you'll see the one of the links there. And let me see if I have that on here, by the way. Of course I do. Look at that handy dandy banner I have. Yes, it's right on your screen, drdenisesimpson.com/MOL. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining me as we wrap up this beautiful month. We're going to continue with this energy. We're going to continue supporting ourselves, investing in our development, and also supporting the woman that's behind us. So join me inside the Institute. I can't wait to serve you there, and I'll see you on our next live. Take good care. Bye.